In today's podcast, we're going to talk about emotional responsibility, what it is, and how to reassign it. I want to talk about something that quietly destroys many neurodiverse relationships. It's called emotional over-responsibility. This is a pattern where one partner, usually the NT wife, feels responsible for managing the other person's emotional state, which is usually the ASD husband. So in many cases, if you, the NT wife, feel that your ASD husband is upset, at some level you feel like you need to fix it. If he's withdrawn, you feel like you have to pull them back. If he's angry, you feel like you have to calm him down. And over time, something very subtle happens. You stop being their NT spouse and you slowly become their emotional regulator. That's not a healthy relationship structure. It's exhausting for the person doing it, and it quietly prevents the other partner from developing their own emotional regulation. So today we're going to talk about what emotional responsibility actually is, why people accidentally take on too much of it, why saving your partner doesn't work, and how to gently reassign emotional responsibility back where it belongs. This is one of the most powerful shifts couples can make. Let's talk about what emotional responsibility really means. Let's define it very clearly. Emotional responsibility means each adult is responsible for regulating their own emotional experience. You can support someone, you can listen, you can empathize, but you're not responsible for fixing their internal state. Healthy relationships look like this. I care about how you feel, but I'm not the manager of your emotions. Unhealthy dynamics look like this. I have to prevent you from feeling upset. Or, if you're upset, it means I've failed as a spouse. That belief shows up in many forms. Trying to constantly reassure your partner, walking on eggshells to avoid their reactions, fixing problems before they even ask, taking responsibility for moods that aren't yours. And ironically, the more you do this, the less emotionally capable the other partner becomes. Now let's talk about why people become emotional rescuers. Many people who take on emotional over-responsibility have a very understandable backstory. Often they grew up learning that peace in the household depended on managing other people's emotions. Maybe a parent who was volatile, maybe conflict was unsafe. Maybe they learned, well, if I keep everyone calm, everything will be okay. So they become experts at emotional scanning. They notice tone shifts, they notice tension, they notice silence, and they move quickly to stabilize the environment. And this ability can look like empathy. But in relationships, it often becomes emotional rescuing. And rescuing sounds like this. Let me fix this so you feel better. Or let me explain in a way that makes you calm. Or let me absorb this emotional wave so you don't have to deal with it. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Rescuing actually blocks emotional growth because the other partner never has to regulate himself. Let's talk about the saving your partner illusion. Many people believe love means saving your partner, saving them from stress, from discomfort, from their reactions. But adult relationships don't work that way. Adults grow through self-regulation, not rescue. So if someone gets frustrated and you immediately jump in to fix it, they never build their own frustration tolerance. They never develop their own emotional muscles. If someone withdraws and you chase them emotionally, they never practice returning voluntarily. If someone becomes angry and you try to smooth it over and help them out, they never learn to regulate their anger. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you shift from rescuing to supporting. Support sounds like this. I'm here if you want to talk, or I can see that you're trying to work through this. I care about you and I trust your ability to handle this. Notice the difference? You're present, but you're not taking ownership of the other person's emotional state. Now let's talk about signs you're carrying too much emotional responsibility. These are the common signs that emotional responsibility has become imbalanced. You may notice you feel anxious when your partner's upset. You rush to fix things even when they haven't asked for help. You feel guilty when your partner has difficult emotions. You constantly try to prevent conflict. You feel responsible for your partner's happiness. Or you feel like if you stop managing the emotional climate, the relationship will fall apart. If that's happening, it means the emotional labor in the relationship has become uneven. And that imbalance eventually creates resentment. The partner carrying the emotional load feels exhausted and burnt out. The partner being rescued often feels misunderstood and treated like a child. Neither partner wins in that scenario. Now let's talk about reassigning emotional responsibility. Reassigning emotional responsibility is not about becoming cold or distant. It's about restoring healthy adult boundaries. And I've got 3 practical steps for you. Number 1, Stop pre-regulating your partner. You don't have to anticipate every emotional reaction. If they're frustrated, let them experience frustration. And you can say, I see that you're upset. I'm here if you need to talk. But resist the urge to immediately fix. Step 2, replace rescuing with supportive presence. Instead of fixing, offer some emotional space. For example, I care about you and I trust you'll work through this. Or, that sounds difficult. I'm here if you need some support. Or, let me know if you want help thinking through some solutions. You're present, but the emotional work remains theirs. Step 3, tolerate their discomfort. Now, this is often the hardest step, because when someone you love is uncomfortable, your nervous system may want to rush in and stabilize the situation. But growth happens inside discomfort. Allowing someone to experience and regulate their emotions is actually a deep form of respect. You're communicating, I believe you're capable. Now let's talk about what this looks like in the neurodiverse relationship. This dynamic is especially important when one person is autistic and the other one is not. Often the NT wife becomes the emotional manager of the relationship. They monitor tone, they repair misunderstandings, they translate emotional signals, and over time they become totally exhausted. Reassigning emotional responsibility allows both partners to develop stronger emotional independence. The NT partner stops overfunctioning. The neurodiverse partner develops more internal regulation. That balance strengthens the relationship. So in summary, healthy relationships are not built on emotional rescue. They're built on shared emotional responsibility. You support each other, you care about each other, but you don't carry each other's internal worlds. When each partner learns to regulate themselves, something very powerful happens. The relationship becomes calmer, conflict becomes clearer, and both partners grow. Now, if this idea resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on this question. Where in your neurodiverse relationship might you be carrying emotional responsibility that doesn't belong to you? Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is to give the responsibility back. Thanks for listening today. Please like and subscribe. Comment what has been your experience. I read and respond to all comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Would you like to schedule a paid private coaching session? This will be in the form of a face-to-face Zoom call. Underneath any of my videos, you'll see this Calendly link. If you click on that link, it'll open up my calendar. You can pick the available days and times that works for your schedule. You'll get a follow-up email immediately after purchasing a session that will have the Zoom link that coincides with the day and time that you picked. I will get an email too that you scheduled a session, and I will be available on that exact day and time, and we will talk. I look forward to working with you.